Welcome to Enchanted Astrology Podcast with Ariel Smith. Thank you for joining as we look at the astrological forecast for the upcoming week of January 14th until the 20th. Now, this week brings us into an important energetic reset point of the year with the Capricorn New Moon on January 18th. And the days leading up to it are doing a lot of quiet, serious cleanup work that's going to make the new beginning just feel so much lighter and more clearer. Now, we start the week with a strong lineup in Capricorn. Mercury is at 19 degrees, Mars at 22, the Sun at 24, and Venus at 25 degrees of Capricorn. So there is a lot of focus here on how your energy is being used, where it's going, and whether it's actually supporting that life that you're consciously trying to build. Now, right away, Mercury in Capricorn is opposing Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, with Jupiter at 19 degrees. And this feels like a moment of honesty around our energy drains. So this is where you start to really see where your energy has been tied up. And it's not always obvious. It can be very subtle. It can be long-held grievances or a belief that just keeps looping in the background. It can be a worry that you keep constantly checking in on, or a story that you've been carrying around for many, many years. And these may not even be yours personally. Now, sometimes these ideas we picked up from family or from just our culture, from the greater collective. And at some point, we let them override our own inner sense of what's true or what feels right. And once that happens, it actually takes a lot of energy to keep those ideas alive, even if we're not consciously thinking about them every day. And Mercury in Capricorn can see this very clearly. He can name it and trace it back even to where it came from. And more importantly, he can make practical decisions about it. Because Capricorn does not tolerate inefficiency. If something is draining energy and not giving anything back, it's not sustainable. It's kind of like, leaving every app on your phone open all the time and then wondering why the battery keeps draining. You don't notice one app doing so much harm, but together they just drain everything. And Capricorn closes the apps. So Mercury opposing Jupiter retrograde here is asking what beliefs, what worries, what emotional cords are quietly pulling this energy away from your present life. And because Jupiter is retrograde in Cancer, this often ties back to our emotional conditioning, our family patterns, or just inherited ways of thinking about things like safety, responsibility, or loyalty. And because Mercury is the last of the Capricorn planets to oppose Jupiter, it makes this feel like a final realization. So the Sun has already illuminated this. It's made it conscious for us. Venus has already felt it. Mars already started acting differently. Now Mercury names it and says, this just isn't worth the cost anymore. So throughout this process, Venus has really been leading the way. Venus in Capricorn has been quietly showing you where your energy wants to go next, what actually feels like a match for who it is that you're becoming, what is actually supporting your peace, your stability, and your overall long-term well-being. So Venus here is very clear. She's not dramatic about it, or not even just sentimental. She just knows what works and what doesn't. And she's not willing to keep investing in things that are pulling her off course. So the sun has been close behind, bringing conscious awareness to this shift. So you might notice yourself realizing that less really is more. And that simplicity just feels so much better. That your nervous system wants fewer obligations, fewer emotional ties, fewer things pulling at you. And Mars following along here aligns your actions with that realization. So in this steady kind of grounded way, right, we're just small decisions, clear boundaries, adjustments that add up over time. And all of these Capricorn planets have taken turns opposing Jupiter retrograde, and each one has asked a slightly different question. Venus asked, well, does this feel supportive anymore? And the Sun asked, is this really who I want to be now? And Mars asked, is this where my energy should be going? And now Mercury asks, does this even make sense to keep carrying? Can I let this go? And at the same time, these planets have also been squaring Chiron in Aries, with Chiron being at 22 degrees of Aries. And this brings up the wound around self-disempowerment. And that's especially in places where our power was handed over to external voices, external expectations, maybe group thinking, group expectations. And this can show up in a big way as second guessing yourself. Feeling like you need permission. Feeling like your truth needs to be validated by someone else before you can act on it. And Capricorn is healing that wound by reclaiming choice. So Capricorn is an energy that decides. So Capricorn decides. Capricorn takes responsibility for its own direction. And Capricorn does not defer to its authority to someone else. It is its own authority. So this week is about choosing what it is that is true for you, even if it feels greatly uncomfortable, even if it goes against old patterns, the way you used to do things before, even if it means letting something go that once felt like it was important. And as we move closer to the new moon, Venus forms a sextile to Saturn in Pisces at 27 degrees and a trine to Uranus retrograde in Taurus at 27 degrees. And this is a beautiful combination. The sextile to Saturn brings emotional maturity and just a steadiness. So it supports commitments that are realistic, they're compassionate, they're sustainable, and it helps you say yes to what you can actually show up for and say no to what is quietly exhausting you in the background. The trine to Uranus brings gentle change, so in the form of like a relief, something that is just felt in this sense of relief. It could be new ways of relating to your life, your values, or your future that feel very freeing. And right after that, The sun makes that same connection, those same connections to Saturn and Uranus, and this brings conscious recognition of these shifts. So you might notice yourself feeling more grounded and more open at the same time, more stable, but also more willing to try to do things differently. So then we arrive at the new moon, which happens on January 18th at 12:50 p.m. Mountain Standard Time at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And this is a powerful Capricorn new moon. We have Mercury and Mars both at 26 degrees of Capricorn, and the sun and moon both at 28 degrees of Capricorn. So this is a serious focused reset point at the final degrees of Capricorn. And to understand where this will show up for you personally, you're going to want to look to where Capricorn falls in your charts by house, and specifically where these final degrees between 26 and 28 degrees of Capricorn fall in your chart. And that area of life is being offered a clean slate. It's grounded and an intentional new beginning. So around this new moon, we also have Venus at 1 degree of Aquarius and Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And at the time of the new moon, the midheaven will also be at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So there is a clear shift happening here from old structures into new ways of living, of leading, of contributing. And Saturn and Neptune are both at 27 degrees of Pisces, which adds this quiet sort of spiritual undertone to this. And Uranus is at 27 degrees of Taurus, which helps to stabilize any changes in the material world. So this moon seems very quiet but powerful. What stays here needs to pass the test of Capricorn, and it needs to earn its place. It needs to be sustainable. It needs to be in alignment with where you're going next. And what doesn't pass the test, is released without any guilt. Those emotional cords or energetic cords that are tied to all those stories just don't take root in you anymore. And we can release that without any guilt. And what is part of this new beginning is now built slowly with a very conscious intention. So this is the kind of new moon energy where you don't necessarily announce your plans. You just kind of start doing something different quietly without saying anything, and it just takes root. You just start living that path. And this is that energy that we're stepping into this week. So this week, take it slow and pay attention to where you feel your energy leaking. And so often we are quick to name it and explain it all within the world of the 3D. I'm feeling this, so there must be something directly in the 3D causing that. And here we're seeing that there is so much more going on in higher dimensions and higher levels outside of the sphere of our current perception that is going on, that we have these energetic cords that we are tied to. And we haven't always been able to name the source of that. So this week, as we slow down and pay attention, there's a lot of supportive energy to be able to name the source, to actually see it for what it is, to see if it is even ours. Does it even belong to us? So trust what your heart and your body are telling you, and choosing what is true to you and what is supportive for you is not selfish. It is self-empowering, and it is responsible. Now, I will mention a fun way to work with this new moon is through the yin yoga classes on my website. So I offer classes for each planet and each zodiac sign. So for this new moon, you could pair the Capricorn class with the moon class. Each class is about 30 minutes, so they're designed to work either on their own or together as a full 60-minute practice. It can be a really nice way to feel these energies within your body and explore the archetypes a little more deeply. So if you'd also like more personalized guidance for the year ahead, you can book a natal chart reading with me as well through my website. That's at enchantedAstrology.ca. I am currently accepting new clients. So thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate each and every one of you being here, and I will be back next week with another episode.